with me today, I have director Mario Emanuel and writer, producer, and actor Jaquir Gillette. How are you both doing today?
Doing all right.
Doing well, thank you.
I'm doing well, thank you. So can you guys give our live viewers a rundown of Defiance and Desperation?
Sure. Mario, you want to, or you want me to?
That's you, man. That's all you. It's your words.
Okay. All right. Well, Defiance and Desperation, it's a performance art film. It's a short doc, about the book release performance of a book of poems entitled Defiance and Desperation. And these poems, they mine the depths of our reality, and they offer different thoughts and ideas and possible solutions that we all face as a society. So the film, it captures that, and it captures that performance.
That's lovely. And so how did you come up with the writing for this?
Well, it started with the poems. The poems that are in this are actual poems that I wrote in my debut spoken word poetry book entitled Defiance and Desperation. So it was, so the writing essentially started from there. And, essentially this was we just wanted this to be like just a, recording of performance, but it ended up being so much more. And we had Tanina Lachelle Queen, who was the poet laureate for the city of Patterson. She does these workshops at the Patterson Museum. And it was like a match that just made to be, because her and I, we worked together on Patterson Poetry Festival, also being commissioners on the Patterson Arts Exchange. And so she was doing these workshops, and I was telling her about what I wanted to do, and she was just like, well, you know what? How about we make this something more than just that? So all the questions that are there were questions that she came up with and that Mario came up with. So that's kind of how it all, especially on the writing aspect. My poems, their questions and vision and everything. So.
And how did the two of you come together?
Mario and I?
Yeah.
Mario and I actually worked on a previous project that was actually featured at the Garden State Film Festival 2 years ago. Yeah, entitled Third and Fourth Chapters. Yeah, Mario was actually he was actually our DP for that. Salute to him. That's my guy. So yeah, so it started there, and we met through our mutual friend, and our brother Sean English, who was also a producer on that project.
Oh, awesome. So Mario, can you give our live viewers a bit about your background in directing?
Well, actually, my background's really in cinematography. I started off doing videos for friends, music videos, gym videos, different promos for just friends and family. And yeah, one day I remember Jock was working on his short film, and yeah, like he said, our boy Sean English called me up, and he said, "Hey, do you have some time to sort of lend your camera for our little project?" And yeah, I went out, shot a couple scenes, and that was kind of like the first experience of actually shooting a feature almost. And I was addicted to that. That was really cool. I'm thankful for those guys to offer that opportunity. And ever since then, I've been working on some small short films and still doing the videography stuff.
That's awesome. So would you say that this was your first time really directing?
Oh, for sure. It was intended to be something, very like last minute. It was very, there was little to no planning this. So we kind of just adapted on the day.
So with that said, when did you guys end up, filming?
Well, it evolved, right? So, like Jack said, it was very last minute, but once we shot his performance, we sort of said, "Hey, how else can we, just evolve the project?" And that's when we came up with starting to shoot it by the waterfalls and just incorporating a backstory behind his words.
And when did you guys end up doing all that filming?
This
That
was
was
2 Novembers ago, I want to say.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
2021?
Yeah, 2021.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you guys have any run-ins with COVID or, obstacles that COVID presented?
You mean besides getting it? I mean,
Well,
At
like
that time, no. For the project, no. We were COVID free.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were COVID free for the project. Yeah.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I know I was one of many COVID recipients of it. But we all good. We all good. We made it through.
Yeah.
So
it's
happy for that.
great to see you made it through because I know that it's a struggle for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
so, Jaquir, can you talk a bit about, your background maybe in writing and producing and I guess, unless this was your first time starring in your own work?
Nah, yeah, actually, well, as an actor, I've been acting in theater and acting in, in film and TV, ever since my days when I was actually in undergrad in college. So yeah, for me, it started there, doing theater, classical theater, but also contemporary theater, and then just shifting into, of course, doing student films. But then after that, going into doing films, for independent projects, and then making my way on into the New York scene, doing being in TV shows like Orange is the New Black, Law and Order Organized Crime, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I'm like, what else? Yeah, like FBI, like this being in those shows, and having that background from my I went to Rebel College College in New Jersey, and so my formal training started there. But also that's why I learned screenwriting. It was also part of my screenwriting and producing was also part of my academic studies. So it was just natural for me because it was part of who I wanted to be to venture off into that. So while acting, also getting into producing and doing my own, and then eventually we end up producing third and fourth chapters, which was a film, like I said, I was featured at Garden State 2 years ago. And that was the first time where I wore the hats of being an actor, a writer, and producer. And then as an actor, I played two characters in that one. I played Anthony Williams, who was a tech giant, the CEO, and also, I'm sorry, he wasn't CEO. He was an executive at a tech company, but also playing the late great Malcolm X, which to this day has been probably the most important character I've ever had to portray. So that's where I stem from. It comes from all that, and I look forward to continuing to do stuff like that. And in fact, Mario and I we're going to be we're working on something now. So,
Really?
oh yeah.
Do you care to share?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's our next project, and hopefully we look forward to hopefully being able to to have the opportunity just to to share it with you all. It's actually entitled "The American Jungle," and it's about a guy having to stop his one of his old college classmates who became an extremist from committing an attack at a rally in his hometown.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. So, with, I mean, at least with Defiance and Desperation, what do you think is in the future for it? What do you think is next? Or do you think, you're gonna keep running the festivals and then jump onto this next project?
A great question. Actually, it's funny because at first, I thought I was gonna be done with. Well, I know, like, I felt like after this, the only next thing to do was probably to do like a digital album version of it. Like, I thought about doing like an ebook or something. I mean, not ebook, sorry, audio book. But then it
Yeah.
was like, it's like, you know what? I'd rather like the album, like a digital album that people could listen to, especially since that's how most of us, music is universal to our consumption of media. So there's that, but I recently was at my alma mater speaking to one of my old acting professors, Tara Vandergaal, and I told her about a presentation I did at Lycum in college, and she was like, "I think you have a one-man show," and I was, and that I was like, "What?" The thought of that never came across my mind. So That might be the after the digital album, maybe the next step for it. Do one person show, but I don't know. I don't know. It just that was a seed that was planted, and I don't know if I'm gonna put some water on it or not.
No, that's awesome. I wish you, the best of luck with that. Like that's awesome. I haven't heard anybody talk about, turning anything into an audiobook, at least not, yet. I also haven't like talked to anyone that's turned, poetry into a film, at least myself with the festival this year. So that's really awesome. With this, like, what is it that you guys want, your live viewers to take from Defiance and Desperation?
Mario?
Well, I think I really would want them just to hear Jock's words. I think that's why when editing the video, I sort of thought about it as just like focusing mainly on the expression, just on his words, to take away, obviously shot in black and white, and to take away that sort of aesthetic and just focus on the message, man. Those words are they're really strong, and I think that's what uh, that's what we cared about the most.
Mario, what does Defiance and Desperation mean to you? Like when Jaquir brought this to you, what impact does it have for you? What do you take from it?
I think it's change.
Change. All
Mhm.
right. Change where, change how, go into it. What does it mean for you
Uh,
for our viewers?
I think it's just there's aspects of our society and culture that have been around for a very long time, and what he's saying is that change is needed. In order for us to sort of move forward and progress as a society and people, it's very important for us to acknowledge the truth of what's going on, and
I love
that's what it means.
it. Sounds like it like what Jaquir brought to you really means something to you. And obviously, Jaquir, like this being the poetry that you wrote, this obviously holds very close for you as well. So as a director, Mario, well, as a first time director,
Mm.
what did this project like? What was an obstacle this project brought to you that you think has made you a better director for forward?
Every project is a learning experience, right? It always is. But this one in particular, just you know, since it was very short notice, it was like that the being able to adapt on the day of, that was something I really learned from that. Just being in the beginning of his performance, the camera sort of stays back a bit, right? We're kind of looking from like the audience perspective, and then it didn't feel right to me. So if you noticed on the later performances, the camera's closer, so it felt like we had to just get in there, sort of feel a little more personal. And those are things that I learned on the day of. Yeah.
And Jaquir, I mean, how about you? Like, what as a as a writer producer, what would you say this project? Any obstacles brought that have made you a stronger writer producer for the future, if not an actor as well?
Yeah. Well, the project, as you were saying earlier, and it's dear to to me because this was a project. Well, this whole scope of it was something that I had the idea for years ago. When I was in formal education, and I wanted to be able to to convey the fact that I personally believe that utopia is not real, but a better world is possible, and that's what we seek. But it's going to take us just being true to our reality and the depth of the reality in which we are in order for us to be able to make that happen. And what it does for me as a, as an actor is to be able to bring, these kind, or, as an actor and a writer, is to bring these kinds of stories. And I like the challenge because of the fact that it's a collaborative process, and also just which requires you to have trust. And that's something that I had trust in Mario, because I knew he had the talent. I know he had the vision. So I was just like, he would say, I'd be like, hey, okay. That's great, because I just had that trust in him, because I feel like he's someone who is a student, and he's someone who's a student of his craft, and he's someone who cares about his craft, and he pays attention to details, and he has that vision. If you have that vision, you working on all those cylinders. I'm like, hey, as a writer, as a producer, it's like, okay, I may see it one way, but during the collaborative process, this is great because you get to see different ideas and different perspectives that may be better than your own, and being comfortable with accepting that and acknowledging that and letting it live.
Oh, I love seeing the trust that the two of you have for each other. I mean, obviously it was something that's so powerful. I wish I could keep going, but unfortunately we are at time, and it's been such a pleasure speaking with you both today. I take you will be at the festival.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I so look to meeting you both in person. And you guys, you can see the documentary Defiance and Desperation on Saturday, March 25th at the Kingsley Ballroom from 3 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Jafir and Mario, I hope you both have a wonderful rest of your evening. And again, I look so forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same as well, Emily. See you soon, everyone. Love and respect.